All right, so today we are going to be talking about the fastest way to improve your relationships, okay? The fastest way to improve your relationship.
So, welcome to Love That Lasts. Oh, creating healthier relationships through intentional growth,
Mhm.
whether you're single,
Right.
dating,
Mhm.
engaged, married, friendships, family dynamics. It helps with all of it.
It does. It does. We're so happy to be here. So, as many of you know, my name is Ebony, also known as Bonnie Divine. Bonnie means beautiful, divine means connected to the Most High.
My name is Eugene. Also go by King Eugene, because I believe we are all royalty. Just
Mm,
got to have that mindset
yes.
and tap into it.
And he's my king.
For those who don't know, we've been together over 12 years and we've been married over 11 years.
Yes. So the question is, what do you think is the fastest way to improve relationships? And that was your slide. What do you think?
Again, there's no wrong answers, different strokes for different
Mm.
relationships. But what do you think? What do you think?
Let us know what you think it is in the comment section. What do you think is the fastest way to improve relationships? So, what we used to believe is that love was enough. We used to believe that, if we love each other, then everything is going to work out. Everything is going to be fine. Everything is going to flow. We thought love would solve all of our problems. Love would overcome our differences. Love would make us stronger. Love would automatically make everything work out. That's what we thought,
True, true.
you know? Let us know if you can resonate with that. Do you believe that love is enough? Because that's what we believe. Anything to add to that?
No, you got that.
Okay. Can we get a witness
Can we
though?
get a witness? Has to be somebody out there
Somebody.
that's felt that, that's
Yes.
believed that.
Right.
Go ahead and drop it in the chat if you ever thought that, or if you still believe that.
Let us know.
So, we soon realized that love wasn't the problem.
Mm.
We loved each other.
Right.
It's just that we both had flaws
Yep.
individually, wounds individual, habits that
Mm-hmm.
were toxic, and weaknesses.
Right.
And the problem was we brought all of these things
Mm.
into our relationship.
We did.
So love can't heal what you're unwilling to address. Now you can
Mm.
choose to love through it,
Yes.
but that can be very difficult depending on the things that are being brought into the relationship.
It can. What do
Anything
you
you like
what
to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what can you heal? You know? What is it that you can heal before getting into a relationship? Think about that. So, just, let's talk about our story. So, we are a healthy, thriving marriage today. And, we are just thankful for that. We've been together over 12 plus years. We've been married for 11 plus years. And it's been flowing, right? It's been juicy. It's been great. It's been fun. But it didn't start off that way. What did juiciness did? But it didn't start off that way. It was very toxic. We had a very toxic relationship. Who can relate to that? Put toxic in the comments if you can relate to having toxic
Let's
relationships.
be real.
Be real with it because it was really toxic. A lot of people be like, oh my gosh, like they look so cute and they look so happy and everything. And we are, but there was a lot of work that had to be done to get to where we're at now. And not saying that we're perfect, but we definitely grown. So every relationship has a past and every love story has a purpose. And so this is ours.
Yes. Self love. The truth is, we were both struggling with self-love individually. So as we came together, we were struggling with it collectively.
Mm-hmm.
And again, self-love wasn't something that was really mentioned, that I can remember it being mentioned as I was growing up.
Right.
Never had no one ask me, how was my self-love,
Right.
or gave me tips on how to improve my self-love.
Right.
So what does self-love mean to you? What does it mean to you?
Right.
Let's go ahead and drop that in the chat. And again, there are no wrong answers.
Yes.
It's just different perspectives.
It is.
But something we've learned is you cannot pour from an empty cup.
You can't.
Love yourself first,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else will get better.
It will. It will.
Anything to add?
Nothing to add. Great, my love. So, what we believe self-love is pouring back into yourself. What does that mean, pouring back into yourself? It means appreciating yourself. Do you really appreciate yourself? Knowing your worth. Do you know your worth? Well-being, valuing your well-being. How's your well-being? Protecting your peace, your energy. Are you protecting all of those things? It's about taking care of yourself. It's about setting boundaries, setting standards for yourself. Taking care of you inside and out, becoming the best version of yourself.
I like that.
Thank you. The relationship that you have with yourself, it sets the standard for every relationship that you have in your life. Who can agree with that?
I agree with that.
I do too. And I didn't used to think that way, I didn't know it had to do with me. I was like, it's the other person. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. So
how did we meet? A lot of people want to know, how did we meet?
That's the question.
So for those who don't know, we met on Facebook.
Yes.
We met online.
On this platform. Not right.
I'm just scrolling, looking around, and I see this beautiful girl. And she's just talking some talk I've never heard, using some words that you cannot find in any dictionary. Like, she was in her own world, y'all. And I was intrigued. So I'm like, LOL. I had to put that in the comments. How did you respond?
I was like, who is this cutie McTootie? Writing to me. And what's interesting is that his name, it was Mike Myers, y'all. It was Mike Myers. So I was just like, who is this Mike Myers? And he had a really professional photo on Facebook. So, when you have a professional photo, you mean business, right? So, he's laughing at me. So I'm just like, really like, oh, I'm going to hit him up, And it was nighttime. It was nighttime and I hit him up and we started talking, got the digits, and then we hit it off.
Told me to pull through. I came over. Again, it's nighttime. I got my hoodie on.
And I was a little tipsy too.
Walking up to the park, but we had a great night. Instant chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first of the year.
It was.
I got there before midnight. We was talking well past midnight. Was there for a few hours.
Rolling up the greenery all night.
Greenery, having a good old time.
Yeah.
So we hung out that night. Hung out the next day.
Yep.
Hung out the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Hung out the next day, for the next couple weeks.
Yes.
And things was going so smooth.
Smooth sailing.
It was like, you know what? We should just move in together. You should move in with me at my mom's house.
Yep. And I thought it was a great idea. 2 weeks in, we don't know each other. Why not?
Why not? And then we realized some of the greatest lessons begin with impulsive decisions.
Yeah. And that was an impulsive decision.
Definitely.
Moving in together. Like, how many of y'all can relate to that? Who moved in with their significant other in 2 weeks at their mama's house?
Woo!
On the bunk bed.
Woo! Too real.
Let us know. So, as you all know, okay, we moved in 2 weeks and we found out real quick that this was going to be a journey. It was very toxic, okay? Like, we had a lot of arguments, we had a lot of fights, we had drug use, we made poor decisions, okay? it was all bad, because think about it, we don't know each other. And that's
Mm.
one thing that I would let everybody, single people, know as well, is like get to know the person, get to know what makes them happy, what makes them sad, what triggers them, what doesn't trigger them, what traumas are they, figure it out, before getting into a relationship, because it may end up like this. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want people to end up in this toxicity.
At all.
Okay. The toxicity happened, it lasted for about a year.
Yeah, y'all.
It-
Going through it for a year.
yeah.
Now keep in mind when we met, it wasn't like we was looking for love, wasn't seeking love.
Mhm.
We was just both moving around in our toxic ways, and it combined.
It was all bad, y'all. Okay. But one thing that I will say is that I did keep it 100 with him, like, because as many of you know, I'm a brand ambassador and I wear wigs. And so I let him know that I had a wig on my head.
Did you take it off?
I did. Yeah, I took it.
Y'all, first time meeting her, she took her wig off her head and said it's a wig.
Because I just got to keep it 1,000.
And it was nighttime. So, I was caught off guard.
Okay. So, unhealthy individuals often create unhealthy relationships. So,
It's
what do
true.
we got to do? We got to get healthy. We got to get healthy right now in this moment. The love was present, but we weren't healthy.
The turning point. What was the turning point in our relationship that made us realize what we were doing wasn't healthy? Things could get better. Things needed to be better. It was one question that changed everything. What was that question? What do you think that question was? What kind of question could alter the trajectory of a relationship?
What is it?
Let's find out.
Put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat.
And let us know what that one question was that changed the world. Okay. The question was, what about me? What about me? What about us? What we gonna do? So it was, what about me? What about me? And so we basically were in an argument. We was always in an argument, right? So we was rolling up that greenery, rolling it up. And then once we rolled up that greenery, we went into the car, the Acura, the blue one, in front of his mom's house. And we got into this really heated argument, okay? It was just all bad. And the greenery is supposed to make you feel calm and collective, but we were not calm and collective. I was getting on his helmet and I was just telling him everything that he does wrong. Like, you not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not taking care of this. You said you want to be this, but you're doing this. You're not doing everything that you said that you were going to do. You need to fix this. You need to fix that. You need to get everything together. You need to do it. That's what I was telling him. And then what did you tell me?
I was like, what about you? What about you?
So that question, it really hit. And that silence that just happened, that was the silence that I felt, it's like, what about me? And it was like an echo, like if you could really envision that, like somebody say, what about you? And then it was like, what about me? So it really was hitting my soul, and it really made me think about it, because honestly, I was too concerned with him, and everything that he was doing, that I truly lost sight of me. What about me? What about me? Anything to add to that?
No.
What about me? All right.
That was the wake up call. That argument.
Yes.
And even as she was getting on my helmet, I was hearing all these different things that I needed to work on, that I wasn't doing right. Had me in reflection. As she was in reflection, I was in reflection as well.
Yes.
It was quiet. The awareness was kicking in on both ends.
Yeah.
The accountability was being realized that it wasn't happening, that it needed to happen.
Yeah.
and we stop looking at each other's problems,
Mm.
start looking at our own.
How many of you all are looking at your own problems? Put a own problem in the chat. Okay, because this is the breakthrough right here. This was the breakthrough. We stop focusing on the other person, stop focusing on them, and start focusing on you. And you may have thoughts like, but they're doing XYZ, the same thing I was doing, XYZ. But you gotta start focusing on yourself. Okay, you gotta start focusing on yourself. And that goes back to self-love, right? It goes back to self-love. It goes back to pouring into yourself, because you could be focused on them, right? And you could be saying like you need to change this, but you haven't actually changed that within yourself. So you need to start focusing on yourself and what you can do to make this relationship healthier. Because I can guarantee you that there's something that you could work on. Like there's always something that we can work on. Vernisha, good afternoon, Vernisha. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Appreciate you.
Thank you for joining. Girl, we had some technical difficulties, but we redoing it. So do you have anything to add to that, my love?
Nah, you nailed it. You nailed it.
So stop focusing, on them. Start focusing on you, okay? There's something that you can do, okay? Oh, also, a scripture that pops up. This isn't a sermon, but the scripture that pops up is, you're looking at the other person when there's a plank in your own eye. So we need to address the plank that's in our own eyes, y'all, okay? Like there's always something that we can do to improve and to become better.
So something that I love saying, it's not about perfection. It's about progression. It's not about perfection.
Yes.
It's about progression.
Yes.
We're never going to be perfect. We're
Okay.
two imperfect individuals.
Yep.
So expecting that just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
And keep in mind, we didn't change overnight.
We didn't.
I'm not saying that some changes can't be made quickly.
Right.
But it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just going to get from point A to Z all in an instant. You don't want to think about all your problems and just try to work on them all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to take small steps.
Right.
Those small steps can create lasting change. Consistent choices. You're going to have to do it consistently.
Yes.
If you want to build a stronger future.
Yes.
If you want to get stronger together, sometimes you have to grow individually.
Yes.
Even if she's only working on herself, progressing, that is still helping our relationship.
Yes.
Now, of course, it's always better when you're both working together,
right,
on a common goal.
Yeah.
But sometimes one person has to take the lead.
Sometimes.
And that lets you know where the other person is at as well.
It does.
If you start making changes and growing and changing, the other person should be influenced.
Yes.
To some degree.
Yes.
Not saying they're going to make the exact changes that you're making, but they should also want to pour into the relationship something positive as well.
Yes.
So remember, growing yourself grows everything around you.
Everything. I definitely want to just pick up on what you were saying. A lot of you know that I'm big on manifestation, and just your reality and shifting it, and us having the power to do that. And so it just goes hand in hand. When you are pouring self-love into yourself, a lot of times, I look at it as a mirror. Whatever is going on inside is going to reflect outwardly. So when you are progressing inside, your mirror is going to reflect, growth, in every aspect. This is for singles, married couple, this is for anybody. Once you start changing your inner and you start working on the shadow work and the traumas and all of that stuff, it starts to reflect. Your healing starts to reflect in your reality. You start receiving more love, because when we first got together, it was very toxic. I had a lot of toxicity with him. I had a lot of trauma. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel safe, and vice versa. He had a lot of trauma that he was dealing with. And so we're projecting this energy onto each other
Correct.
and just creating more of it. So imagine what happens when both parties, are pouring into themselves and reflecting that beautiful energy towards each other. The sky is the limit.
Truly. Truly.
And thank you so much, Vernisha. We hope that you're having a great time at the family reunion.
Definitely,
Give me
definitely.
some food because I know that, the reunions have food. So, and let everybody know I said hey. So, yeah. Is it my turn or your
Yeah,
turn?
true.
Okay. So, oh yeah. Okay. So the question is, what do you think helped our relationship grow? Put it in the chat, put it in the comments. We went over a lot of information. So, what do you feel was the biggest thing that helped our relationship grow?
What was it? What was it? What helped us get from that toxicity
Mm-hmm.
to a place of healing? Ooh, faith. Definitely took
Mm.
a lot of faith, a lot of believing that we could make the changes,
This is true.
you know?
This is true.
Believing that we can make the changes individually
Yes,
and believing that we can make those changes collectively,
absolutely.
And of course, sometimes faith is believing in things that you cannot see.
And we couldn't see.
And sometimes when you start making those changes in the beginning, you don't always see them. It's not always the biggest changes that are made first.
Right.
Sometimes it's things taking place internally that reveal themselves later.
It
But
does.
over time, over weeks, sometimes months,
Yes.
you begin to see those changes in responses, in the way that you go about things,
Yes.
whether you talk, whether you respond,
Yes.
all these different ways.
Absolutely. Great answer. Great answer. So for us, it was definitely faith too, but it was also individual growth, that was the biggest thing that changed our relationship was working on ourselves, being willing to change, and I'm definitely thankful for this journey because we can't, oh, this was your slide. But
you cannot
yeah.
change others. A lot of times we like to point the finger at what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to take some of that energy and pour it into yourself, you'll be able to make some changes within.
Yes.
So instead of focusing on their changes, let's focus on the changes that we can control.
Yes.
And that's the changes that we can make. Because we can change ourselves. And it does start with just one decision at a time.
It does.
You don't have to fix everything all at one time. Let's just pick one thing. Let's work on that. Let's get better at that. And you just working on that one thing helps the relationship.
It does.
And it is a process. Trust me. We still learning that too.
Yes.
It's an ongoing process.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to see the other person's flaws.
It's so easy.
It's just right there in your face. Now, your own flaws, it takes a little bit of reflecting.
Yeah.
It takes some time sitting down and evaluating things.
Mm-hmm.
But when you grow, everything changes.
Yes.
Your relationships changes.
It does.
Your friendships change.
Yes.
Some friends come closer to you.
Yeah.
Some friends may veer off once you start making changes. And that's okay.
It is.
That's okay because everybody can't go with you, especially when you choose to better yourself. And that's with a relationship too.
Yes.
Like if you're putting in the work, bettering yourself, putting in that effort, and the person that you're with just refuses to make any changes on their end.
Right.
And that doesn't mean we're beating them up about it or every day we're just, I'm making changes. You ain't making changes. You ain't keeping, it's not like that, but you're just, over time, you're making those changes and you're not seeing it within them. Mm-hmm. At some point, you decide. Yeah. Is this the relationship for you? Is this the relationship that's going to last through time? Or is it the relationship that helps you get to the next place in life?
Have discernment.
The real shift starts with you.
In all relationships.
Yes. So let's not give the other person the power to stop us from elevating. Yes. Let's take that power, pour it into ourselves, and make those changes and see if they can make those changes with us.
I love it. I love it. So the key takeaway from this live is that the fastest way to improve your relationship is to improve yourself. And again, that is going back to self-love. It is going back to knowing who you are, knowing your worth, your boundaries. You got to set the boundaries for yourself and for your relationship, but really take that time to pour into you and know that self-love is not selfish. Okay? Because a lot of times, I know for me, it's been taught that you got to put people before yourself. You got to keep giving, you got to keep helping, you got to keep doing something to help the other person. While your intentions may be, great, you're leaving yourself empty. And a lot of times that can damage other relationships because you're trying to help other people. You're trying to give advice to other people when you're not even good, you're not even whole yourself. So it's important to give yourself self love. It's important to work on the trauma, the trauma that we all deal with. We got to heal from these things. And before you get into a relationship, know your partner's traumas,
And we
like
didn't do that.
we
We didn't
didn't.
take that time to learn each other, learn each other's flaws, things we need to work on. So when we got together, that's why it started off so toxic.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. You sure did.
Whew. So, what is one area that you can improve on? Not one area they can improve on, that they need to improve on. What's one area you need to improve on? And let's be transparent.
Right.
Just a couple of days ago, we got into an argument
We got into it.
about something very, very important to both of us.
It was deep.
So when it's important, emotions get high, logic tends to get low.
Say that again, though.
When the emotions get high, sometimes logic gets low.
I'm sorry. One more time for the people.
When emotions get high, logic gets low. So you might say things you don't mean. You might go about it a way that you're not even intending to. I'm thankful that it didn't get too crazy. We didn't get real loud about it.
Yeah.
But we did realize, communication is something that we need to keep building on.
It is. It is.
And keep working on, because everything can be smooth the whole day.
It can.
Everything we're just in sync. It's just flowing. And then something is said that just disrupts it.
Right.
That has us thinking like, what's going on? Right. What are you talking about?
Right.
What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
And in those moments, sometimes we spend a little time to ourselves, and reflect on what we said, what we could have said, what we didn't say.
The self.
How it could have been taken a different way. And again, when you don't work on yourself and just give it to everybody else, sometimes you get burnt out.
You do. And
sometimes
it's exhausting.
It can lead to resentment.
Oh.
So just realizing how I could have said something different, how I could have internalized it different, helps the relationship. So we're going to continue working on communication.
We are. That's something that we had brought up not too long ago, is like, because we've evolved, y'all. We've truly evolved in our relationship. And it was just like, what is it that we need to work on, But
True.
But it is communication still. Like, that's definitely at the top, you never stop growing. You never stop evolving, So I had something else over there, but I lost.
What we're going to work on. We're going to keep working on communication. What is something you can work on? And again, you don't have to be in a relationship to work on something.
Right.
People love telling us what we need to work on. They love telling us what we're not doing right. Sometimes we need to just internalize those things and see the truth in it.
Yes.
And realize what we can actually work on to better ourselves.
Yes.
And when we better ourselves, it betters our relationships, friendships, everything. It all ties in together.
I just want to say that I am thankful because our communication, although that is something that we need to work on still, but because of all of this, everything that we've grown through, we've gotten to a point where we aren't yelling at each other, like we used to cuss each other out, call each other every name.
Yelling match.
Yeah.
Who can get louder? Whoever's the loudest wins.
Slamming doors.
Breaking phones. Throwing stuff. I love breaking phones. That was my thing. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why I did it, but when I would get heated, man, I was throwing the phone.
He broke so many of my phones. I'm just like, can we stop? Like, can we find something else? Because these phones cost money. Hi, Amy. Welcome from Ireland. Amy from Ireland. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Ireland in the house.
Ireland in the house.
But we're just talking about things that we need to work on.
Yes.
Accountability.
Yes.
What's the area that you can improve on?
Yes.
You know, and again, like you said, we have made a lot of improvement.
Yeah.
But again, we're not perfect.
Right.
We're never going to be perfect. So even when things are going great, we still have those conversations like, what can we work on?
Right.
What can we improve on?
What can we
You
do?
know, what's the lowest area that we have right now in our relationship or individual that we need to work on?
And we talk about that with each other. We talk about individual and collective, you know? Because again, it starts with that self-love. It starts with working on yourself individually.
So we're very transparent. You know, we just love being open and honest about things. But that doesn't mean throwing your spouse under the bus.
Right.
That doesn't mean throwing your relationship under the bus and just throwing out all the bad things about it.
Right.
It's just being accountable.
Yes.
You know, picking an area that you could work on, and how you choose to word it matters.
It does.
You never want to put yourself down or put others down, you know, even when you're being open and transparent. So a lot of times I'm not going to say what she needs to work on. I'm going to focus on what I need to work on.
I love that. And one more thing, what you would say all the time, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond. It's how you respond to the challenges that arise, because challenges are always going to arise in any relationship. Okay. And it's just taking a moment sometimes before responding. Ask yourself, how am I going to respond to this scenario? Am I going to respond when the emotion is really high and the logic is low? Or am I going to take a moment to respond with love? And it can be challenging, but the more that you practice it and the more that you pause it, your arguments begin to be just more of disagreements and more calmer, you know, and more peaceful.
This is true. And if you're not responding in love, maybe it's best not to respond in that moment. Maybe it's best just to take some time to really evaluate what you should say, what you shouldn't say, and what is prompting you to respond not in love.
Right. Amy says, respond, not react. I love it.
Wish I'd have learned that 10 years ago, but I'm thankful to have it now.
Yes.
When you respond, man, if somebody, you know, when you're just reactive, if they're coming at you hot, you coming back hot.
Yeah.
If they coming at you on 10, you trying to go to 11.
Oh my God.
You know, but when you take time to actually respond,
yeah,
you know, you normally handle it in a better way.
Absolutely.
In a more healthy way. And that's the goal.
Yes.
Even when your spouse maybe not come in the best way, you get to choose.
Yes.
How do you choose to respond? And if your spouse is hot, but you respond cool, that could help your spouse respond better.
That could really change the game right there.
It is. Instead of just trying to outdo them.
Yes.
Let's just try to out healthy them.
Out healthy them. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, because we always be trying to make a jab back. You know? Don't make the jab back. Be the peaceful one. And it'll have your spouse sometimes like, wait,
I'm tripping.
Yeah,
I'm tripping.
And the spouse starts second guessing themselves. And then, you know, once he or she calms down, they might come back and they might apologize. You just never know what happens when you respond with love, because love overcomes all darkness. So, you know, when you respond with love, you're shedding light, you know, and that's
the goal.
We got to just spread the light, you know, spread the light in our relationships. Every relationship. This is even a relationship with your boss. You know, maybe your boss is getting on your helmet, you know, and you want to cuss your boss out. Now, I'm not saying to tolerate disrespect, right, you know, and if that is the case, you know, be mindful, you know, have discernment, you know, if they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, tell HR, you know what I mean? But do your best to respond out of love and not get on their helmet.
Love that. Love that.
All right. So that is the end of our session. Thank you so much for being here. We're definitely grateful to be able to share our experience with you all. You know, again, this is for all relationships, and our goal and our mission is to spread love, and we want to see love that lasts, you know, in all relationships. That is what we do this for. That is why we're sharing our experience. Although we're not perfect, we never will be perfect, but we know that we done grown through some things that a lot of people just don't truly understand.
It's true.
So we want to just shed and spread light on how relationships can change, but it really starts with you, you know,
Right.
before any relationship, really work on you.
Something we didn't do.
Right.
You know, and when you are in a relationship and begin making those changes, you know, see if your spouse is willing to make those changes as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because not every relationship is built to last,
Right.
and that's not just based on how it starts. It's based on the work that's willing to put in once you're in it.
Absolutely.
If you're bettering yourself, making all these changes, and you're with someone that refuses to make those changes, sometimes you have to decide how you want to move forward, and if that person is meant to move forward with you.
I'm sorry, my love. And that goes back to the self-love and
Right.
setting your boundaries, because that will help you with determining whether this relationship is worth staying in or not.
Right. So we thank you. Thank you for your participation. Appreciate you, Amy.
Thank you so much, Amy, for being here. You know, I appreciate you and your energy. She says you guys are a great power couple. You're making me blush.
Appreciate you. And just know it took a lot of work individually and collectively.
Yes.
And we're going to keep putting in that work.
We will. And also, for those of you that are not inside our free school community, Love That Lasts, please join our school community, Love That Lasts. It is free to join. It is a community of like-minded members that all want love that lasts, that are applying love that lasts, you know. So join that community. We will have relationship tips in there. We already have our classroom full of modules that you can go through. We will be adding more trainings, deeper conversations. We do offer one-on-ones with couples, you know, and we can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about in your relationship and see where we can help you.
And you can access anything you want to access about what we've been through, what we're going through, what we've grew through as well.
Yes.
We also want to shout out to
Vernisha. Shout out to you, Vernisha. You know, I appreciate you and your energy. Thank you so much for your support, for participating. We are grateful to have you. And we thank everybody that is watching the replay, everyone that is watching this, that, you know, stayed through, you know, everything. Thank you. We thank you for taking the time to invest in yourself, you know, investing in yourself, and, you know, just finding new ways to create love that lasts.
and encouraging us to keep growing.
Yes.
And making sure that our love continues to last.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. So thank you. We appreciate you. May you have a wonderful day. Also, one more thing. If you know somebody that can benefit from this, share this live with somebody. Share it with them. Invite them into the free school community. There's a lot of tools and resources, and we're going to continue to evolve. Yes. And we're going to continue to grow. And we're just so excited. You know, this is one thing that has stayed with us, you know, is just our love journey. And when I think about how far we've come, it is literally day and night. Like, I tell him every day, like, I'm just so thankful for you. And you should tell your spouse that, or any relationship. Just, you know, I'm just so thankful for you and what you've done in our relationship.
Enjoy the rest of your days.
Because I'll keep talking.
Stay blessed. Be blessed.
Yes.
Till we see you again.
See you next time.